Hey everyone! Welcome back to Story Hive channel, your go-to place for the best Reddit stories on the web. If you love diving into amazing tales, crazy confessions, and heartwarming moments from Reddit, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Let's jump into today's story. I called a meeting with my family to break the news that I'm sick and might not have much time left. My brother and his wife thought it would be a good time to announce their pregnancy and were a bit annoyed. Bit of backstory, my brother and I are very close, but his wife and I not so much. We've had our fair share of tension. Anyway, I fell sick in the middle of May, but held off getting checked out because of COVID and safety reasons. Eventually, when June started, I decided to go get checked. It turns out it was stage 2 breast cancer. I decided to tell my family 2 days ago since lockdowns had been lifted. So, I invited everyone over. When I told my brother and his wife, he said, "Okay, that's fine because he has news to share too." Our family gathered, and my brother decided to go first. He did ask me and announced that his wife is 4 months pregnant. Of course, everyone was overjoyed. After about an hour, they asked about my news. I knew this was probably the last time in a long while that I would have everyone here in person, so I told them. The initial joyous atmosphere was gone. The rest of the evening was filled with a lot of support for me and not much attention on my brother and his wife. My brother didn't seem to mind this as he was quite distraught with my news, but I saw his wife pretty upset and cornered off. I decided to approach her and apologized for the timing of it all. She told me I could have waited a bit and Skyped everyone with the news, as it's just stage 2, and let my brother and her have this moment with their family. I told her I initially called this meeting for this exact reason, and she said she knows, but I knew my news would damper everyone's mood. I told her she was being ridiculous, and I wanted to tell my family in person since they are my family after all. She burst into tears and demanded to go home, which my brother obliged, even though he was confused. He promised he would come see me soon since he stays close by. Later that evening, I received a message from him asking if I told his wife that she isn't part of the family. He also asked if I deliberately wanted the attention on me because that's what she's upset about. The next day, my parents called me to check up on me. My mom mentioned that my brother's wife called the evening before, really upset. She told them what I said and claimed I'm trying to ruin her life because she's pregnant. I told my parents what actually happened and what I really said. It's caused not only tension between his wife and me, but also with my parents and her. Now, she's also blaming me for my parents not being her biggest fans. My brother is torn but has been trying to talk to her, which results in more tears and a strain on their marriage. All this drama is making me think that I should have just called up everyone instead or just told my brother that his news had to wait, even though that would have been selfish of me. I really wanted my family's support that day, but I'm starting to rethink whether it was worth all this drama and potentially causing further problems. Edit. Wow, I didn't expect this to get so much lovely feedback and to think I was slightly scared to post this. Thank you all for the unnerving support, love, and hugs. I read and am still reading every single comment made, and I really appreciate it. I will most definitely fight through. Thank you all so much. Just wanted to add a few points. When my brother told me he had news too, he was really excited and added it as a just by the way. He did apologize and admit afterwards that if he had known what my news was, he would have held off his because right now what's important is my recovery. He also admitted he wrongfully assumed that my news would automatically be good, as I'm usually always the happy, chirpy one. His wife wasn't too fond of this either. My brother's wife also had a miscarriage at the beginning of the year, which is why this pregnancy was extra special. I'm truly happy for them. I just wish she could understand, like one user pointed out, that this isn't a competition. I don't know why I couldn't tell him over the phone. We're really close, and I knew it would have crushed him. I couldn't steal him away at the gathering either because he was the last to arrive. When he did, he just quickly mentioned, "Hey Opie, mind if I go first?" I was frozen on the spot, so I said, "Sure." It's hard to explain that feeling where you're absolutely frozen and there's a big lump in your throat that prevents you from speaking. But saying that news in the first place was really difficult. Just another point to clarify. I'm not a saint, but my brother does mean a lot to me. It's exactly why his wife and I cleared the air between us before, because I wouldn't deliberately make his life hell by pissing her off. Hence why, when I saw she was upset, I approached her. When she told me I could have Skyped, I responded that I wanted to tell them in person since they are my family, and they would probably want to be there with me when I broke the news. I never once implied she wasn't a part of it. My brother and parents know this. Sorry, this is so late. A lot has been happening the past month since the news came out. Since I've received a tremendous amount of love from Reddit, I thought it would be fair to let you all know what happened. First and foremost, I've started treatment. Also, one of the reasons I couldn't update sooner. Thank you all for your well wishes. I plan on bouncing back as soon as I can. Anyway, I could see that my brother was under a lot of stress, and I finally sat him down to talk about it properly. He showed me a bunch of texts that his wife sent him, telling him he is a shitty father for choosing me over his family. She said I was seeking attention and that nobody cares about her. One thing that really got to me was that she told him to choose once and for all. If he picks me, he loses her and his child, and if he picks her, she doesn't want me in their lives at all. I felt terrible not only for him, but knowing that I could have prevented all this. I took the time to apologize for putting him in this position. If I had just pulled him aside soon enough and given him a heads up, he would have truly understood. My brother tells me I shouldn't apologize because he should have been more considerate. He also mentioned that his wife would have probably still gotten mad at him whether they did or didn't give the news on that day. So, I decided I should invite her over for coffee to sort out everything. I spoke to her alone and asked her about everything. She was very cold and didn't really answer, so I started talking first. I apologized if I made her feel excluded from the family or that her pregnancy was of any less importance. I explained that I should have given them a heads up so we could have avoided what had happened altogether, and that was my fault. I was very sorry. But I also mentioned that the way she reacted and went to the extent of lying wasn't okay. She then started crying and vented about how angry she's been and that my brother always put me first. Recently, they've been going through a rough patch, and when he sided with me, it made her even more upset and feel even more lonely. She admitted she lied to my parents and my brother, saying she was hoping they would show her more sympathy. When they were cold to her, she got even more upset. After hours of talking, she apologized for how she acted and has been acting, and she would like us to move on from this. My brother came later, and they both went home. He texted me saying they spoke for hours and agreed to couples therapy. My parents are currently living with me and helping me out tremendously, but they're not quite happy with my sister-in-law yet, although they promised to try to work things out. Things finally seem to calm down, and let's hope it stays that way. None of this would have been possible without the feedback you all gave me, and I'm indebted to that, so thank you. All of you are so kind, honestly. But I wanted to clarify that I'm no saint, nor am I selfless. I know what happened wasn't entirely on me. However, to focus solely on my recovery, I can't be stressed out about this whole situation and have all this tension around. Seeing my brother being put in that position and my sister-in-law being hurt, holding hatred can affect herself and the baby. I did what I could to fix things so that everyone can focus on being healthy and positive without holding any grudges. I know I sure will. I know my sister-in-law can be very stubborn and unreasonable, and if I left things in her hands, I'm 99% sure it would have resulted in much worse circumstances than me putting the first hand forward. At least now I can focus on my recovery without any distress or toxicity. I'm human. I felt angry, I felt upset. Yeah, I wanted to give her a piece of my mind, but doing so wouldn't help myself, her, my brother, or my family. It would only damage things further. This realization is what prompted me to let it all go and focus on positivity and my mental and physical health. Thanks for tuning into today's Reddit story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on more amazing stories. See you next time.